Welcome back everyone to episode 8 of my Wolfram Park series on Planet Coaster. In this episode I'm going to be showing off my Rialto Bridge recreation, which will serve as the main entranceway into the Little Italy section of my park. This bridge, as you can see, is pretty big. I actually end up replacing the center piece, which is 8 wide right now, with a 4 wide piece, as it keeps people from walking through the buildings and glitching through them too bad. Unfortunately, the sides have to be 4 wide, as it's the smallest we have available right now, so the buildings overlap and the people do walk through the sides of the buildings quite a lot. But I think it's a fair compromise for how good the bridge looks and how closely it resembles the actual bridge. Now, I do have to say I am loving these stone column pieces that they gave us in Alpha 2. Honestly, if they had not added these, I probably would not have been able to do the Italian section of my park. They just are so versatile and they fit so many different themes and they're just super useful. As you can see, I'm using them quite extensively on this bridge, and I'll be using them quite a lot on the Italian buildings in this section of the park. Now, although it took me quite a few hours to actually put this bridge together, because it took a lot of tinkering to kind of get the shapes and things of it correct, I was actually working on the German section of the park quite a bit. Working with the landscaping and started building a coaster. I actually finished, well, more or less finished the coaster that's up in the German area right now. It's kind of a terrain coaster, but it's pretty cool. I like it, and it's definitely a more thrilling coaster. It's got quite a few inversions. It's pretty fast. Definitely not a family ride. And hopefully I'll be showing that off soon. But the German area needs quite a bit of work to kind of bring it back into the original idea I had for it, with being sort of a mountainous village. It turned more into a forest area, and I kind of need to smooth the ground back out and everything to be able to put some buildings in like I was originally planning. Now you can see here how I'm using the new stone columns to create custom arches for the shops that are on the bridge, and they actually work really well. I was originally going to just use the arches that are already in the game, but when I was looking at the bridge in real life, they have these sort of stone patterns around them, and then the sort of like marble looking wall that's the rest of the facade. These actually ended up working really well, and they weren't too difficult to use, especially now that we have the 3D positioning tool. It did take me quite a long time though to get them into a perfect arch the way I needed them, and then also have them sort of line up with the the vertical columns, and then also match the sort of rest of the facade area. They had to fit underneath the top cross beams that you can kind of see behind what I'm working on right now. And I'm actually messing with putting them on this side right now. Now, there's a few minutes here where I'm just working on the facade for this piece of the bridge, and then I'll be moving over and working on the sort of taller center piece of the bridge that you can see next to what I'm working on right now. And there's really not much to talk about right now, so I was going to just sort of mention what I'm thinking about for the San Marcos Square area. Now, it's going to be really hard to recreate the palace like it is in real life, so I was kind of planning on maybe just making it a sort of palacey looking facade, but then make it maybe a giant stage where performances would be held and that type of thing, since it'll be right on the massive square area where a lot of people could stand and watch it. Basically, it would just be a 3-sided building that kind of looks like the palace as best as I can, but then the front side, instead of being the entrance to the palace, which is very grandiose and intricate and has just an insane amount of detail that really can't be recreated, it'll probably just be an open stage area. I'm also planning on filling the rest of the square area, which in real life has a lot of shops and restaurants, with the shops and restaurants that are in the game. And hopefully in the future, when there are more shops and things, I'll be able to just plop them right in. So I'll try to get all the facades and things done now. That way, when things are released in future updates, they can just go right in and everything will work fine. Now, touching on the coaster for this section of the park, I was kind of talking about it last time, how it's going to go back behind the rest of the area, and the facades for San Marcos Square will kind of cover up the roller coaster entrance. I'm not entirely sure what kind of roller coaster I want here. I spent maybe 4 hours or so the other day just sort of playing around with the Giga Coaster hyper coasters, because there's quite a lot of open space long ways behind the Little Italy section of the park. So something like that would work pretty well, because there's a lot of room for the cars to get up to speed and kind of lay out an actual Giga or hypercoaster type track, as it would be in real life. But then I was also thinking about, I've seen some people do sort of log flume type rides, just sort of using the VFX and roof tiles that we have already. They actually look pretty good, and a log flume would actually work really well in this area because of the canals and everything. It'd be cool if I could even fit somehow both of those types of coasters in this area, but I really don't think it would work. So I really don't know what I'm going to do entirely in this area. Hopefully something will come to me, or I'll end up just stumbling into something. Really not sure. Probably while I'm just playing around with different ideas, something will hit me and it'll end up just being there. That's kind of what happened with the roller coaster that's currently in the German area, just up the hill. I was just sort of playing around with the coasters and just trying to make a terrain coaster just to see how it would look in that area, and I ended up sticking with pretty much the first design I went with. I ended up going back and changing the first lift hill and what happens right after it quite a few times, but the rest of the ride after that pretty much has stayed the same. Here you can see I'm using these glass block windows, which I was using quite a bit in the last episode for some trim work, as sort of the building blocks for the sloped part of the roof. Nothing else really worked here. I tried using the standard block, stone block thing, the long trim piece. I don't know what it's called, but it's used quite a lot. But it was actually too long to work for this roof in order to make it match up with the real roof. So I ended up just using a bunch of these glass block windows to get that stone look and then tier them, as you can see. And it actually worked out pretty well. Hopefully it's not too polygon heavy or anything, and my game is starting to slow down quite a bit. But I think that's mainly because I've got a bunch of waterfalls going on up in the German area, and I might have to end up taking those out because there's something like, I think maybe 80 or 100 of the large water jets that I'm using to get a couple of waterfalls, and it seems to have tanked my performance quite a bit. I'm still around, I think, 30 or 40, but it's getting pretty choppy when I try to do any of the real-time footage. So once I finally got one of the sections of the bridge done and I was happy with how it looked, I was able to just copy it after selecting all the individual pieces, which was really tedious and I messed up a couple of times. But I was finally able to just copy and then paste them all over the bridge, as you can see. And it made it obviously way faster and easier to get this bridge done. There was a little trouble when I tried to do the other side of the bridge because the slope for the roof was opposite. And there's no like mirror function in the game. So I had to just manually recreate one of the pieces and then recopy it and paste it to do the other side of the bridge for it to match up. For the next few minutes, there's not much to talk about. I'm just working on a little bit of the end caps for the bridge here, and then I'm going to be working on the underside of the bridge. And it's really all self-explanatory, and there's not much to say. So I think I'm just going to play some music.
Now here we stand and hover on the edge. We're just a drop in time. I feel like gave you every breath I had. Even forgave your crimes. I opened my
Well, I finally got the bridge done, so here's some real-time shots. I'm actually using the camera cheat that is in Alpha 2 right now, and it lets you sort of walk around as a peep in the park. Honestly, the walking is too slow right now, so this is actually the normal walking pace, but I sped the video up 2 times. So the camera movements are a little jerky, but the walking speed is a little more realistic. That's pretty much going to do it for this video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, share it, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I love feedback, and I would love some ideas on what else to do with the park. And thanks for watching.